want to talk a little bit about the implications, the benefits of presence. And I'm just going to speak, from my example, but you guys picture yourselves here in whatever aspect of life, whatever your past experiences have been, whatever reflections come up. The more I've started to know what presence is, and when I say know, I mean like a deeper knowing that's within myself, not a knowledge knowing. There's no data that I've gathered about what presence is. It's just a noticing and an observing of the unfolding that's occurring from inside to out. I can be present to observing thoughts that are running through my mind and going, okay, well, I'm caught up in so many details, or I seem to be triggered by this thing, or I'm identifying myself with this thing. See, that's even me being present to what's going through my mind. And there is a knowing that you are present to noticing that you're caught up. That alone is a huge world of difference compared to you actually being caught up and actually being identified with what's running through your mind, because that's going to produce a different you in the world, right? You get identified with something in your mind and you don't know that that's what you're doing. You're going to show up with that identification. And you're going to separate yourself from life, from people, from things. If you can be present to understanding that there's something passing through your mind that's triggering you, well, that's a huge benefit versus you actually being triggered by something and not knowing that it's something in your mind that's triggering you, right? We lack presence when we're already triggered and we're looking at the thing that's triggering us, because then you're going to show up triggered to whatever you're doing, to cooking a meal, to a conversation, to the walk that you're on. You're triggered. You've missed life when you're triggered. But you being present to the fact that you feel triggered because of something passing through your mind, that's different. So just like the identity piece, the trigger piece is the same. And these are just tiny examples I'm using. You can replace the word trigger with anything. You have a low bank account. You can be present to that. Or you can have a low bank account and it means this about you. And oh my God, this is blah, 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 blah. That you're going to show up differently then. You can be present to the fact that you've eaten too much. Or you can be victimized by the fact that you've eaten too much. And the two are different. If you're present, you're not associating yourself with the event or the clouds passing through your mind. You're just present to it. Huge benefit. That leads us to be neutral again, that leads us to be with life again. It leads us back into reality instead of being identified with what's happening in our mind. The mind can do whatever the hell it likes. I'm not the mind. And a deeper benefit is you start to see other people responding to you differently. They respond to you unguarded. I have a lot of clients telling me, I feel extremely seen and understood by you. You know, I've never experienced somebody who knows me like you do. And I've known them for like 3 weeks, maybe talked to them 3 hours in my whole life. And they're saying this. They're saying that because they feel presence. It's not Shenan at all. It's presence. The presence drops people's guards. When you're present with somebody, they feel safe in your presence. They're going to attribute it to whatever they attribute it to. But what's really going on is they're feeling presence. And relationships evolve. That's a benefit. Your work or your relationship to your work, your enjoyment of your work evolves quickly, very, very quickly. That's a huge benefit. The conversations you have with people evolve very, very quickly. Conflict ceases, understanding grows. You can have a dialogue with somebody instead of a debate. That's a benefit. It's a benefit of being present. Morning walk, since we're using that as an example, or evening walk, evolves very, very quickly. You notice things on your morning walk that you otherwise would have never noticed. If you're taking a morning walk to relieve stress, it's a completely different walk than when you're just present to going for a walk. You'll notice things on that walk that you never noticed for 20 years walking the same path. Just because you're present. That's a huge benefit. It fills you up with energy from within yourself. It helps you see yourself in the trees and the leaves and the flowers and the pavement because you're present. You take better care of yourself, so your health evolves significantly when you're present because you have common sense available to you. You have access to a deeper feeling. You're going to make better decisions for your health. Whether that's eating right or working out or sleeping early or drinking more water, it doesn't matter. It's not a sophisticated health plan. It's just you're sensitive to presence. You're sensitive to being present to the thirst within you. You're a little bit more sensitive to that when you're present than when you're thinking yourself into something. I know that I have chosen coffee when I should be choosing water because I was not so present. So imagine those little subtle changes, right? You sleep because you're tired, because you're present to yourself more. You notice, oh, I'm getting a little bit tired, I'm going to go to sleep. You do that 300 times a year and you miss 65 because you get caught up. How much beautiful that year would be in your health. You drink the right amount of water because you're sensitive to and present to yourself, and you notice that you're lacking water. You do that 200-300 times a year, 200 times a year, let's say. You miss 165, no problem. You do it 200 times a year. So your health is so much better. And the opposite is true. Caught up a lot. You know, we build ourselves into stress, then we choose coffee or we choose Coca-Cola instead of water. We choose to watch one more show because that might relieve the stress. We sleep late. 300 times a year, your health is going down. It's all these little things. We live in a world where we're looking for answers and techniques and strategies to help us get better. But all it takes is to be present. That is the fundamental. You're going right direct to the source. Be present. You need to do nothing else, and your common sense will kick in. And I'm still learning how to be present. I mess it up all the time. I'm okay with that because I know that sharpened, that respected more is going to be the ultimate. way of living life. I'm not interested in techniques or strategies that might get me there faster, because I now understand those techniques and strategies will need maintenance. And that'll also take me out of presence more and more. Whereas if I can just be better at being present, I'm going to live life.